Good evening and welcome tonight here to Singapore, where we have some Division 4 racing around the streets of the Southeast Asian nation. Our current championship leader is as well Billy G, who had a great race last week. He ended up winning the race and taking the championship lead by a single point to SFR the Vicar. I just realised I'm in game chat, they can all hear me. Good evening, boys, have a good race. As I swap now into a party. That is a little bit embarrassing on my end. And there we go, we're back at it. As Alex Haig will be one of the first cars to come around, it'll actually be Brass Monkeys to be the first one as he comes through towards what used to be the famous Singapore Sling. They removed it in 2013, 12 years ago now. That was a really good corner, really challenging corner. We saw a lot of accidents there though, and I understand why they did remove it. Singapore, was the first night race in Formula 1 back in 2008 where the infamous crashgate happened at a corner that is as well not longer here, as we'll head towards the area that it was. Nelson Piquet Jr. crashing in his Renault, enabling Fernando Alonso, his teammate, to end up winning that race, which was, of course, investigated over a year later when Renault actually fired Piquet. But however, we'll just go back to the modern day F1 where the Alpine of Alex Haig is not far behind. The Haas of Brass Monkeys, who starts his first lap of the session. Heading through turn 1, you want to cut a bit of that inside curve, maximise as much as you can, extend the track as much as you can as well, and just pick up as much time as you can. We'll see if Alex Haig does that. Indeed, there we go. Just maximise the track as much as you want. And it is, of course, what you have to do sometimes around this track. It's just so hard. You want to, as well with how close the walls are, you've got to maximise as much as you can on the corners that aren't got curbing. A wall on the entry. A couple of them are a bit difficult to get though. These couple corners now, the slow, hairpiny kind of corners, very easy to see a dive bomb, little nose up the inside action could cause a lot of accidents through here. Still yet to see a safety car in Division 4 this season, which is really clean and extremely well done to these drivers, of course. Heading through to the old Singapore Sling now. Alex Haig over the Anderson Bridge. It's a right-hander straight into the breaking zone. We might see someone clip the barrier and go straight on. He's a little bit slidey on the exit there, though, is the Alpine. Has a nice little tow from a V-car. I believe that's Dylan Vince. Currently P4. Purple sector 2 for Alex Haig as he clouts the wall at the end of the mini straight. Not the mini straight, the DRS straight. And that is going to affect his lap time a good bit, I think. Brass Monkeys first up with a 30.8. We'll see what the following cars can do. We've got Preb behind his teammate, so it's Alex Haig doesn't set a lap at 30.5 and a 29.0 for Preb, 28.9 for Dan. And we'll see more cars coming across the line. Looks to be Dom first off. He's going to go to P3. The Haas of Reed out to P4. John Mobes going through Sector 1. Vicker through Sector 1, 2. Doran is going to be next up to have a crack at it. He's going to go to P5. And Billy G coming around the final two corners now in the other Aston Martin leading the championship. And he is going to go to P4. John Mobes is not next. It'll be the Vicar. At the minute, P2. He has had a really consistent season, has the Vicar. He's had 2 wins, 3 podiums. It's just nothing compared to the actually no, it's the same for Billy G. Actually, he's got again 3 wins, 2 podiums along with that as well. 5 wins, 5 podiums technically. Sorry, the Vicar has 2 wins, so the Vicar goes to P1 in the table at the minute. Just about goes to P1. John Mobes looking to increase that gap there as well. The Aston Martin's currently 12 points clear, and speaking of going clear, 3/10 clears John Mobes over his teammate Alex Haig. Maybe going to finish a lap off. No, he's invalidated. I believe he may have done that last lap as well. Yeah, you see there's a big chunk of the front wing missing there at the end plate off of that Alpine due to the collision. And he's invalidated this and next lap. I'm surprised he stayed out there on the all tyres. Dylan Vince through Sector 2, Sector 3. He hasn't validated himself. He'll be diving into the pit lane with the first runs out of the way. Just looking to see if anyone's on a lap here, maybe. Doran looks to be going for another one. We'll ride on board with him. P8 at the minute, P3 in the championship, fighting with John Mobes for that, and could possibly go for a championship here if he can get a couple good results stringed together over the next couple of races. He had a good start of the season, led the championship for a couple of rounds, I believe, and currently resides in P3, 11 points clear of the Ferrari, with one more win, same amount of podiums, and two poles a piece between those two. De Vicker still yet to pick up a pole this season, saving his his pace for the race. Yeah, did have a little bit of a go at me for mentioning his quali pace last week. I'll be seeing the DMs after the session. No, he's a really consistent driver as De Vicker. He's looking for his first pole tonight. Still 3/10 off at the minute, and we'll see if John Mobes can get a third or De Vicker gets his first. And Billy G looking a bit further down at the minute. It's not going to help him take the lead of the championship. 3/10 up is Doran through sector 2. As he comes into this final sector now, the newly refurbished straight for 2024, I believe it was done, or might have been 2023, where they had removed the finicky squarish section about midway through. That was on the corner braking. Doran's going to go to P2 now. Good lap by him. Massive improvement. 1.7 seconds on everyone else. He's good lap by him. We could see a couple more go up. Improve quite a bit. Nate Creed on his lap at the minute, not doing much through sector 1, 2/10 down. And we'll see what he can get through sector 2 now as he comes towards the Anderson Bridge in the old Singapore Sling. And you used to be just an absolute, I believe it was 3 corners in one, and you just hop over the curbs and just try and keep it as straight as possible to avoid going into the outside wall. We saw Kimi Räikkönen in the wall there in 2008, I believe, or it might have been 2009 in the Ferrari. And we've seen many crashes in that section in the years. 1.3 seconds down, Nate Creed. Not much improvement here. As I'm just having a look up and down the championship myself now. Dom currently P6 behind Alex Haig, 86 points and 89 points between those two. Alex down in P9 could give Dom a chance to go into the top 5 of the championship, and it's if he pulls a couple good results together, maybe challenging for a higher position than just P5. But the top 4 absolutely racing away with it at the minute. John Mobes, Doran, Vicker, Billy. And it's the same in the championship. For the constructors, Aston Martin racing away with that one. 4 wins and 8 podiums. With Ferrari getting 2 wins and 8 podiums. And just 22 points, 12 points behind them. And could take the lead tonight with a good result. Which I believe they'll obviously want. Dom through turn 1, 2, 3. Nice and easy for him. May see a bit of moisture in the race. I believe he's actually forgot to turn his ERS on as Dom through sector 1. Or maybe going for a double warm-up lap. We see a lot of that in real life. And judging better to close the ERS, he's going to do that. I believe it's Alex Haig behind. Alex Haig. Not too sure how to say that, please. To help me with that. In the stream, 2/10 up, Dan P4 at the minute. That'll put him onto the provisional front row of the grid just through his first sector alone. Based off the first time split through sector 1, sorry, if he doesn't improve through the rest of the track, which I believe he may. Nice couple corners strung together there over the Anderson Bridge round. It's a tricky braking zone, that one. May see a couple messed that up. Dan coming out the corner there, the hairpin. Nice DRS open, not too much ERS used. Purple sector 2 for Dan, 5.5 up. That'll put him 2 ahead of John. Really improving now as he's bringing the lap time and really bringing a lot of it to him now. As he comes around the final 2 corners now to double apex corner is the final one, and it's going to be provisional pole for Dan, 4.5 tenths, dropped a tenth in the final sector, but still in a really impressive lap, and still time out there, which has been proved by himself. And we can get that 7 minutes to go, just over 10 minutes gone in the session now, as we'll start coming towards the final runs now. BTL Wakey, the new driver, going to P4 behind Doran and ahead of the Vicar. 28.859 for him on his debut. Could see a nice lap time by him. He's obviously joined during the session. Had to, I believe, may have had other things going on. The Vicar coming through the Anderson Bridge. John just starting his lap through sector 1. We'll just have a little glimpse at this as he comes round. It'll be the final sector where you'll really want to see, or the middle sector, sorry, where that's all, where all the time is. These couple corners are just straights and exits, and it's, can't really improve much there, as it is proven not really much 700s through the first sector. Best place to improve is through this middle one, where you can brake a little bit later, get on the power a little bit earlier, and just slide it right to the wall and use the maximum amount of tarmac that is available. As he cuts it through, just slides it over those curbs, cutting as much as he can, saving as much lap time as he can. No lock up through there, nice and clean. DRS is going to go wide open for that Ferrari now, down straight into turn 13, I believe it is. There we go, 4 tenths up. As I said, 4 tenth improvement through that middle sector. This could be an amazing lap. This could be into the 27s for John tonight. As we reach 5 minutes to go in the session, he may not be able to get another lap in, as he's invalidated at the very last. And that is frustrating. As I say, that commentator's curse comes in, and that is into the pits for John. It would have been a 28, at least a 28.2, possibly a 28.1. Vicar heading through his middle sector now, over the curb and on the inside. A lot of it will wash you out wide as well. You don't want to take too much. You can take as much as you can, but don't get too greedy, of course. Kind of contradicting myself there, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Because it's just, it'll wash you out. It'll give you a bit of more time, bit more speed, but it's just so risky, and you may end up in a wall, and you don't want to be doing that in the race, of course. A long race round here, one of the longest laps, was one of the longest laps in Formula 1 now. Shortened about 10, 15 seconds now from what it used to be. Still a really good lap time now as he comes around the final corner now. We'll see if he can get a really good lap time. He moves up to P2, 4 tenth improvement in that final sector. The Vicar with a really good lap, moving himself up to P2, but may have left himself too late to get another lap in. Alex Haig, 4 tenths up through sector 1, a little bit wide through the Singapore sling. He's got another car in his way. It looks like to be the exact same V car from his first lap, Dylan Vince, in his way. We may see a nice little draft or a tow there. It's 1.4 up for Alex. That will put him into the top 5. Yeah, into the top 5, possibly into the top 2 here. If he can keep the time up, he's going to save a bit of time with a nice little tow from from Dylan, but he's going to lose it. No, he's not going to lose it through the final corner as he comes round. Will we see a 27? No, we're not going to see it. We're going to see a P4, 1.3. 128.723, 500s ahead of Doran on his outlap at the minute. Billy G on his final lap of the session, 8 tenths down. He's gone for a double outlap. He's abandoned his first one. Brass Monkeys moving up to P11 there, slotting in behind his teammate. May have enough energy to do one more lap. As we're just waiting for people to start crossing the line. Billy G just waiting. Dom through sector 1 on another double outlap. Alex Haig will be on an in lap out of fuel, and that is P4 is the best he can get. If that means if Doran or Wakey cannot improve, possibly even Preb improving, we may see. That is an awkward camera angle on the angle. Literal camera angle, as it's a bit trippy, that one. Doran starting his lap now through turn 1, 2 and 3. Long corner. You want to get on the power as much as possible, as early as possible. Just easy to spin it, as it is through a lot of these corners. The grip just cannot be there sometimes. One lap it will, one lap it won't. As heading through to the end of sector 1 now, Doran is not up. He's actually down on his lap time. We may see improvement through the rest of the track though. Lock up there and slightly wide for the Aston Martin as he comes round now towards turn 7. Turn 7 there, and over the curb at turn 8. Doran through sector 2 there. We'll see what he comes up to at the line. As John Mobes, John goes to fit P1, completely left my eye off of him. Do apologise on that. He goes to provisional pole. Alex Haig is out the session as well. That may have been in the pit lane there. Billy G. As Doran improves up to P5, Billy G up to P4. The Vickers session is over. Dan looking to improve on his lap time though. John is not going to improve. Wakey will be first. He's invalidated. That's his session over. P7 for him. Preb, no improvement. He may have just started a lap though. Dom, 2 tenths up. Purple sector 2, 5 tenths up. As he crossed the timing line there, this could be a really good lap for him if he keeps this pace up through the final sector. As Dom coming to the line through the final corners now. Wakey out the session. Round the final corner, a little lift for Dom. He's going to be a 28.3 pole position. Provisional pole position. For now, Dan still coming around these final 3 corners now. Can he improve? No, he's backed off. P3 for Dan. Billy not improving. No one's improving at the minute. Preb coming through to finish his lap off. He'll be the last one over the line. Purple sector 2 according to the game. Don't believe on that one. See what he can get done through the final sector. Little shaky through the final corner now. Through the final couple corners there. And coming to the line, it's going to be a P7 for Preb. He jumps his OWR teammate. As Dom takes home the pole position. His, I believe it's his second on the season. This year it is no, his first pole position of the season. He's had a podium and a fastest lap, and that is good for him. He takes his first pole position, beating John Mobes to that title, to that pole for his third of the season. Dan comes home in P3, sorry. Vicker is in P4, and it's a P5 for Billy G and Doran in P6, and it's an all Aston Martin third row. As speaking of Doran, we just wait for him. Can do a lap. Just loves a penalty, unfortunately. Yeah, it does tend to happen around here. And it's Dom on pole position, followed by John, Dan, the Vicar, Billy G, Doran, Preb in P7, Alex Haig in P8, Wakey in P9, Readouts in P10, Brass Monkeys just behind his teammate again, Silver Fox in P12, Night Creed in P13, and Dylan Vince in P14 tonight. as we know, it's going to be, by the looks of it, a dry race tonight. We'll see if it does stay that way. I'm not seeing many clouds, but you can't really see it with the night sky. Of course, already mentioned, Singapore was the first night race in Formula One back in 2008, where we had the infamous Crashgate scandal happen, where Flavio Briatore was banned along with Pat Fry, both of them now returning to F1 in different roles, same, I believe, different teams as well, by technicality, different teams. Pat Fry, if I'm not wrong, is at Williams. Flavio Briatore returning to Alpine / Renault. We'll just wait for people to start, maybe in the next 2 minutes, maybe at 5-2. As we approach the race now, here we go. Formation lap underway. It'll be Dom leading us away tonight on the hards, followed by John, Dan and the Vicar alongside him. With that, the only person in the top 5 on the mediums is Billy. Doran on the hards following suit. Preb and Alex Hay going for the mediums on row 4. Wakey and Readouts going opposite on row 5. Hards for Wakey. Readouts with a medium along with his teammates Silver Fox and Night Creed, and then Dylan Vince on the hards in last place. We may see a safety car tonight, we may see a bit of rain tonight, which will be the first for both this season in terms of race. Never mind, actually, I just forgot Austria. Austria was a rain race off and on through that one. Started wet, middle was dry, ended wet as well. Caused a bit of chaos towards the end of that race. There we go, strategies there. It's going to be a medium to hard, apparently lap 15. So it should be the complete opposite there. In hard to medium, Dylan Vince with the DSQ on the formation lap. Tyres are going to be stone gold at the very bottom of the field. Not going to be easy for him to make up a couple of positions there. We'll see what happens as the race starts. Dom now coming to the final corner. Pit lane, you want to stay on the inside, of course. Not allowed to cut in at the last second. Or cut out at the last second even, I believe, as well. Not allowed to do that as they pass the V-carb there, and he lines up to the front row of the grid for the first time this season. As we approach the red lights now, there we go, final McLaren in position. As we approach the 5 red lights tonight, it's going to be green in Singapore. It's go, and John Mobes look to have got the better start there. As it goes down into turn 1, it's going to be a couple cars flying through. Lock up for Doran there in P6, followed by Wakey and Preb. Preb going round the outside of Doran. There's a 3-wide contact with the Ferraris. The Vicar going into the wall after hitting his teammate there. Doran, and there's more contact. The Vicar may have lost part of his front wing there as well. Alex Hay going around the outside, reads out of position. Preb dropping a little bit through the middle portion of the straight, and it's going to be 2 wide, nearly 3 wide into that corner there. Wakey round the outside of Doran, and there's contact between the two as Preb gets past one, going for the other, not going to get it done. It's Dom leading them away through Sector 1 by 1.4 seconds already. Dan in P2, Billy G, and a poor start for John. There's contact, it looks like Reed's out in the wall, and Alex Haig going round him. Sorry, John Mobes losing another position as Doran goes off as well, nearly into the wall of the old Singapore Sling. Big lock of him, and he's actually made contact with the wall. He's lost a part of his front wing, and he's going to be locking up all over the place, losing a load of time, and he's on the hards. Not going to be helpful whatsoever. Wakey just behind Preb. He's going to try and get that move done right back. John in P4 again, after dropping to P5 for a singular corner, and a poor start for him. As it'll be Dom leading them away at the end of lap 1, followed by Dan, and then very closely followed behind by Billy on those mediums. Dom 34.2 starts, obviously starts first. He's going to get the fastest lap of the race at first. DRS now enabled. Wakey going past without DRS is not needed for him to get into the top 5, and he's going to be chasing down John Mobes now. He's lost 3 seconds to that Aston Martin ahead. Doran seemingly staying out, doesn't think it'll affect him too much with this high downforce circuit. As he puts it round the corners, you'll see a lot of contact with the wall. There we go. Wakey gets past. Preb gets past. Doran may be looking to go round the outside. It'll be a bit of a dive as he cuts across in the braking zone. Contact between the two readouts, and his teammate there, the Vicar, getting past Alex Haig. Up the inside, there's contact. Doran in the wall again as the Vicar goes past now. Doran dropping down to P13. The Vicar still round the outside of the Haas and getting a move done. Brass Monkeys still ahead. John there too may have made contact with Doran as Preb puts pressure on Wakey ahead of him. The Red Bull just ahead. Of the Red Bull just ahead on those hards at the minute. Trying to chase down Dan, who has been overtaken by Billy. Billy is going to set the fastest lap of the race, 32.0. He's pushing to get another race win and extend his championship lead with his rival down in P8. This is a prime opportunity for Billy G now to get a gap over him. Doran getting past there. May have lost more of his front wing. He hasn't. Just that right side for now. Silver Fox just ahead of him. But the eyes are on the leaders as it's Dom and Billy. John Mobes overtaken by Brass Monkeys actually. John's seemingly struggling. He's let his teammate through too. Has John got damage on the front there? It looks to be a Haas slowing down. They're all checking up now through the end of Sector 1. Has John got damage to the front of that Ferrari? That is the question. At the minute, the Ferrari of Vicar under pressure from readouts. There is damage to that front wing, and it looks to be quite substantial, to be slowing him down multiple seconds per lap. Dan is out of DRS range. Billy's into the DRS range. Billy's setting faster sectors again this season. I don't think anyone really has a chance at stopping him if he keeps this current pace up. This is 4 on the bounce he's looking for now. As long as he keeps it off the wall and other drivers are on track, he's got a good chance at it. He sets fastest lap 31.5, 5/10 quicker. Doran 3-second time penalty down in P12. One Aston Martin really setting it rough at the minute, whereas the other has had contact and a bit of a poor start. We'll see if he can recover in this race. He's shown glimpses of his pace throughout the season. Here comes Billy G though. Can he get it with the DRS? Will he have to go for late braking into turn 5? That'll be a no. He's going to just sit behind for now, save a bit of his tyres, bit of his DRS possibly, and a bit of his pace. Alex Haig now getting past John Mobes, who may have to pit soon enough. Silver Fox looking at that Ferrari too. Still no moves going there. Readouts behind the Vicar, who's stuck behind the other Haas. He's in the Haas sandwich. with, of course, how Haas get there. Carson, he's going to go up the inside. That is contact. And that is the Vicar possibly getting more damage throughout that race there. But it's definite damage for Readout, who goes up the inside and has lost his entire front wing now. Throughout the, through the old sling. And we'll see there, he's lost a big chunk of it. Didn't lose it all, surprisingly enough. Just an end plate and a bit of it came off there. Dom with a 3-second time penalty in the lead of the race. Doesn't want to be doing that too often, with Dan still chasing down for that podium position, and Wakey not too far behind there too. I may have gotten that through the final corner. He's extended out of DRS there by the look of it though, toward the end. Comes towards the end of sector 1 now. No DRS move going to be happening yet. Wakey under pressure from Pred, possibly with the DRS soon. And the Vicar is looking to get past Brass Monkeys eventually now. After 2 laps behind that Haas, he does get past it. John Mobes has been passed as well. And it's while one Ferrari moves up, the other Ferrari moves down the order. P6 for Vicar at the minute. Looking to pull 5 seconds now back as Readout comes out of the pit lane on those hards. Does he actually get that move done? Speaking of getting not moved done, does he go to the end on those hards? We'll find out as the race goes on, but it's going to be Billy G there. He may have got a move done, possibly if he decided to go for it on Dom. But I think he may be being a bit too conservative. You need to try and push with Dan not too far behind as well. Just try and pull the gap out there in case you do eventually get a penalty in the end of the race. Which may happen. There's still a long way to go tonight. Billy G still closing in on that Mercedes. No move there. Dan still sitting biding his time, waiting for those two to just kind of fall into his clutches. As it looks like Wakey going off the track there to try and keep a bit of a gap. He does let him through though due to that, and there is Preb up to P4 in quite an unconventional way. And Wakey will still be in the DRS though and has a chance to come back at him. Vicar pulling in 2 seconds already on those two, with those two fighting the course in front. He has still got Brass Monkeys behind in that DRS. He's got to keep mindful of that. With the Haas there, can't really push all out so far because he may actually lose a bit of time fighting with the Haas if the Haas does choose to fight. There is yellows in sector 2. It looks to be Brass Monkeys, and commentator's case coming straight back out. He's gone deep on the brakes and into the wall at turn 13, and that is going to have to be a pit stop for the Haas. Both Haas's now fallen victim to contact, and that will be a disappointing pit stop to make. But the Vicar is now unleashed with no pressure behind. No pressure in front either. We'll see Vicar still there. Wakey still there too, looking to push on. Billy G, you can see the gap just dropping a little bit. It looks to have dropped to 10th in the last couple of laps. But I mean, over time, that will just keep going and going and going, especially with how his tyres are now starting to fall off on those mediums. Softer compound on then the hards, which are just going to come more into the window now, and like longer into this race over those mediums. We may see Wakey starting to push. We may see Alex Haig starting to drop off, and Doran and John started to come back into it. Those two on track again. after contact earlier in the race, I believe, which sent them both, which may have sent them both round and down to where they are at the minute. I'm not too sure what did happen. Did miss it there on the stream. No one into the pits yet. Lap 8. Still another 8 or so laps to the pit lane. Not the pit lane opens till the pit window opens possibly, and we will see what does happen. Dom, with carrying that 3-second time penalty, actually pulled out over a second on that lap. Again, I'm talking highly, people. Commentators' care's coming really into effect tonight. As Dom, I'm not going to say he's running a good race so far, but he is ran really consistent. So has Billy G just behind him, and the pair of them looking to have another fight for a B1. Dom looking for his first win this season, and 4 on the bounce for Billy G is what he's looking for. And I believe that'll be 5 podiums in a row for Billy G as well, which is really impressive, if I'm not wrong in saying. I'll double check on that one. Billy G, it won't be 5 in a row, it'll be 4 in a row. He'll be 4 wins in a row, 4 podiums in a row, after he missed out in Imola on the podium 3 rounds ago. Coming home in that race in Imola. In P1 was the championship at the minute, P2, the Vicar, and P2 in that race was P3 in the championship, Doran. And it was also then rounded off by John Mobes getting his first podium in the season to that point. Preb and Wakey still fighting on those mediums and the hard. Wakey's tyres will start coming into more grip now than Preb's. Not that they're getting grippier, they're just getting more grippier than the mediums. You see a little fake there by Wakey, it looked like. Try and fake a move up the inside, and we should see him get him into the braking zone now. We'll see the DRS open, we'll see the slipstream there, and we'll see a pull out from the Red Bull. Now he's going to sit behind again for another lap. He's just going to wait for Preb to make a mistake ahead, and he's just going to pounce on it and use the tyres when he can. Preb sliding into the corner there by the look of it. Don't want to be doing that too often. Scrub the grip off the tyres very, very quickly by doing that. And through now the Anderson Bridge. He's still got the Vicar behind. It could be a 3-way battle there. You can see the Ferrari just in view there, as you see him, yeah, just in the background in the braking zone there. Just yeah, as well, the Vicar, really smart driver, knows what he's doing, knows when to overtake, where to overtake, how to overtake a lot of the time as well. Doesn't push for a move often. We'll see what he can get done tonight. It looks like actually there's damage to Wakey's front wing there. First time I've noticed that tonight. Billy G and Dom still fighting through that turn 2 by the looks of it. Turn 4, sorry. No move will be happening there. Wakey will be wanting to get past though. Down this straight now, he's within 3/10 of that McLaren as they head down and race under the bridges of Singapore, and he's going to try and do it under braking. No, he's not nowhere near getting that move done. And again, it's another lap of missed opportunities for Wakey, and the Vicar is going to be pouncing all over that. He's going to get that move done. He wanted to get that move done and into the top 5 once again. After as well, he made contact with his teammate on the opening lap, putting himself into the wall and putting himself down the Orza through turn 3. After as well, more contact throughout the race with readouts down into the old Singapore sling. No damage for him, but there was damage at on readouts side. We'll see what happens as they head through now to the final corners. If there'll be any overtaking. Billy G's fell off quite a bit there. seemingly struggling on those mediums now. He's dropping time every corner now. Wakey with the 3-second time penalty. That's going to be important come the end of the race. If he's still stuck behind Preb come that time, again he's got the understeer, not the understeer. He's got the dirty air off of that McLaren. He's also got the understeer due to the front wing not producing as much downforce as it usually would due to the missing end plate. But it's still good so far. The Vicar's going to try and force him wide with a little mistake there. He's just going to put the pressure on, which I think a lot of drivers would do. Don't want to be diving in. My controller's disconnected. I'm going to have to find a wire for that. My bad on that one. Completely forgot to charge it. As we'll cut back into the race, and I presume we'll see an overtake be done now. We're all good through the Anderson Bridge now. My headset will die soon by the looks of it as well. But I do hope it's not before the end of this race. BTL Wakey still behind OWR Preb, pair of them under pressure from the Ferrari, and Alex Haig maybe wanting to get a piece of that. He's 8.5 seconds back, but he'll have to push quite hard. The two Hasses having quite a battle there down the field. They're all over each other in the last couple of laps. No move so far. Wakey faking it through turn one, coming back across there. And he's just believe this is the lap he'll want to get it done. 2/10, less than 2/10. Entering the braking zone, he cannot get the exit due to the lack of downforce. We may see both of them go past him there. Brass Monkey's in a wall down towards the corners. There's contact there. They're both off the track, and the Vicar's just going to go straight back through into P4. And that was a bit inevitable as there's Preb in the wall, Wakey's in the wall, as they both have lost even more time. And Alex Haig now straight into the DRS of his OWR teammate. I wonder what did happen there, as there's a lot of damage to that McLaren's front wing. And he'll be making a pit stop about 3 laps earlier than scheduled due to contact with the Red Bull in front. We did jump off board. I'm not too sure what did happen. The Vicar just getting the undercut on both of them after Wakey's frustration. He went up the inside, bit late on the brakes, and he just got caught on Preb's wheel. And it was yeah, kind of inevitable. Happens a lot in this game. Billy G into the pits now about 2 laps earlier than the window said. Not liking those mediums at all, and I'm going to guess he's waiting for a safety car. Wakey in 2, that's for damage, and that's really early for those mediums. Alex Haig and Preb coming in 2. Silver Fox up to P4, Doran to P5, and John Mobes still with damage to that Ferrari is going to come out just ahead of Billy G, and we may see him just let him go. We may just see him let him go towards the a lot of these corners. Wakey on the mediums already. He may have to two-stop this race. There's no way those tyres last 18 laps around here. Bit of a tyre killer. Dan now released to try and catch Dom. The Vicar trying to catch Dan. And we're just trying to go for each other at the minute. Not much going on up and down the field really. Wakey and Alex coming out not too far behind each other, of course, with Wakey's front wing change, which he had to do. Billy G will be looking to dispatch of John very quickly. Wakey will have to make use of those mediums early to try and get past the Alpine and chase down the car in front, which would be, I'm guessing by the time he does eventually get past will be John Mobes. We'll see. He's going to go up the inside. No, he's going to fake it. Maybe in contact with the wall there for Alex Haig. There was. As he goes a little bit wide, Doran moves up to P4. That's because he's pit there in the McLaren. And Billy G with a slide out the final corner, trying to get the move done on John down the main straight, not getting it done though. Nice hold-up play there from John there for his teammates up in P3, trying to get a bit of an overcut on that Aston Martin. Silver Fox down to P9, possibly behind his teammate in P10, no. As there we go, John and Billy swap positions down the straight. A little bit of time would have been saved there. DRS for Wakey, who's going to help it in his defence there. Silver Fox is in the wall on his outlap. He's just came out the pit, tyres really cold. And he's in, it may have just been a spin there. It looks to be all damage free for that car, and it is all damage free. But it may let readouts in, and that's one way to warm your tyres if you're Silver Fox. I wouldn't recommend it very often though. Alex Haig now trying to lap Dylan Vince. There's not much is happening. No one's really that close with each other. And I guess we can have a bit of a break in this race now, as we reach about halfway distance. We'll see a couple more pit stops soon with Doran, and a couple more with Vicar and Dan and Dom. But I guess the closest battle on track is actually probably Alex and Wakey. I don't really think that's got much chance. Readouts maybe on Silver Fox, but he has got a massive tyre offset compared to the McLaren. Wakey with the fastest lap of the race now, a 31.0, showing off his pace to try and get ahead of John. Still got 9 seconds to pull in before that Ferrari does pit, probably soon-ish. I'm trying to look into the sky there. It's all dry, all clear, and we will have an entire race without rain, hopefully. Which I mean, you kind of love to see. You kind of don't. You always want a bit of rain to spice it up, but it does also mean no drivers are at risk of really going into the wall on those dry tyres in the wet conditions. Dom picking up a second penalty of the race there now. That is that's a big one for Dom. Now 6 seconds worth of penalties, with Billy G not too far behind. He believe he was not even 3 seconds back when he made his pit stop. Dan 3 seconds back, 2 seconds back at the minute, and he's got 4 seconds to gain over Dan to get the to get the win. Wakey with another fastest lap of the race there in P7. Pulled in what looks to be 4 seconds over John there. We'll see what it gets over this lap now. Already 3/10 through sector 1. Not the sector 1, through turn 1. And it was 5.1 when they crossed the line. Readouts and Night Creed racing away into the pits. Does come Readouts actually, sorry. And that'll be why the Williams moves up a spot. So up the inside actually goes Brass Monkeys on Dan there, and he's going to put Dan off a little bit as he does unlap himself. But the Ghosting car, of course, he is allowed to unlap himself if he feels he has the pace over him, which he may think he has, and he may look like he has actually, as he kind of got in Dan's way there through the Ghosting. Perfectly allowed though. And we'll see at the end of this lap, it's already 2.5 seconds is the gap. That's over 3 seconds this lap John has dropped. And that is quite a gap. Wakey now trying to just pull in. That was over 4 seconds faster that lap over the Ferrari, and he's just getting faster and faster each lap. By the looks of it on those mediums, and could be an outside shot for a podium tonight if he keeps this pace up. Billy G still there, however. And we'll see the gap to the leader actually. For him, 32 seconds. It won't be a podium by the looks of it. It may be ahead of the Vicar, however. But yeah, there we go. The two Aston Martins swapping there. 22 seconds back from the lead. And a 12 lap tyre difference there, sorry, between Billy and Doran to finish the lap. As again, kind of hit a bit of a dry spot in the race in terms of battles. Wakey is going to be all over the back of John and will probably get him very, very quickly down this next straight, given he gets the exit over the Ferrari, which he does by the looks of it. He'll have to go up the inside though. It'll be a bit of a lunge from this far back, and he's going to not go for it. He's going to fake it up the inside, a little loose. Is the Red Bull. He's going to try and go for it through the final two corners now. Possibly if he gets a run on the car ahead. He's not going to get the run on him. He's going to have a lot more grip though. 12 laps newer on those tyres as sector 2 yellows again. As up the inside goes Wakey, as there's a car off. Wakey's still there. Up the inside, John not going for it. John gives him the space though through turn 1. Night Creed, 3-second time penalty off the track. Bad looks of it. Up the inside there goes Wakey, gets the move done. John leaving the gap for him though as he get the DRS. Down the second straight to defend, possibly to get it back. No, it's going to be no one getting the DRS there. But it's going to be John with the straight line speed. Less downforce on that car. Dylan Vince is disqualified from the session as there's contact between Wakey and John. And that is going to be that through there. And that may have picked up a bit of damage on the Red Bull. But nothing too serious by the looks of it. As Dan is now under pressure from the Vicar. The Vicar is at the minute in provisional P2 based on penalties. And the Vicar is actually going to be first to pull into the pits out of this lead 3 group. Does he come out ahead of Billy G though? That is the question. There. He will not be ahead of him. Will he be ahead of Doran as well though? He's going to have to battle that, and Wakey may actually pull ahead of him too. And Wakey is going to come out behind the Vicar just about. He's actually going to get a launch around the outside. He's going to get the DRS on him though. After being held up by his teammate there. That was quite smart from John Mobes, and he's actually helped his teammate gain a position. There. John into the pits now. He has new front wing, has new tyres, 12 laps to go. He's in sprint mode now to salvage what he can from this race. And that is going to be the Vicar ahead now on those mediums. He's got 8 seconds to Doran, 11 seconds to Billy G, and a lot of seconds to Dom and Dan, who still have to pit in this race. And both of them will dive in this lap. And we'll see what is the stops like. Is there any damage to those cars? Not on the Mercedes. Will there be anything on the Alpine? No. Both of them on the mediums though. Just coming out of sector 1 there. It's going to be the Vicar who's going to race around the outside of both of them, and the Vicar takes the lead of the race. Now, not to takes the lead of the race, takes P2 in the race. With 11.5 seconds to Billy G. and 11 laps to go. He's going to have to pull over a second a lap. And not only that, he's going to have to pass him. And as the old saying goes, catching's one thing, passing is another. He's going to have to catch and then pass over a second a lap. Dom just behind. He's going to try and push on as well. With a 1 lap fresher tyres, he's tried to go for the offset on the Vicar, who got the undercut on him. So here we go, Dan just behind in DRS, Dom in DRS, and nearly a second gain there, that lap by the Vicar. The question is, how fast do those mediums degrade, and how slow do those hards degrade? As Dom a little bit wide, may have just let Dan have a little pop of him there. And we will actually see, coming towards the end of this race, a lot more fighting going on, as strategies finally come and converge towards each other at the very end. As tyre offsets come in, strategies pay off. Staying out longer pays off as well. Undercuts pay off short term. And we've seen that with Billy G with a 10-second lead, but only 9.9 now. Coming out the pits, Dom a little bit wide. They may have picked up a warning for that. And speaking of staying out a little longer there, John on 2-lap-old medium, setting the fastest lap of the race in P10. He's chasing down the Red Bull. He's also going to chase down Doran. Both of them out of position tonight from where they'd usually be after contact earlier in the race, as Vicky actually pulls out the lead now over Dom. He may have gone a bit wide again. He doesn't want to pick up another penalty, because that brings Alex Haig into the equation, and possibly even Preb, if the penalties do stack up like that even further. As they come round the final corner on lap 21, starting a new lap now. What can they get done over the next bit? Dan still there, Wakey with the fastest lap of the race now. Can the Ferrari beat it? Gonna have a bit of a battle now for fastest lap between those two. No, not on this lap for the Ferrari. Sorry, my voice is going on. I have got a drink of water just in case I do need it. Dan here and there. Oh, actually Dom in the wall. Let's see, does he pick up any damage from that? That is the interesting one there. He has got the car right behind him though, to put pressure on and kind of force those mistakes. He's there to pick up the pieces when needed as well. As they race round 10, the final 2 turns there, and that's a tough one. It's not quite flat out, but it feels flat out, and you want to take it, but you can't. As there's just there, moving out, yeah, sector 2 yellows. Looks to be a Haas again, virtual safety car, and that is our first safety car of the season. And that'll be for a front wing of Brass Monkeys. as he's lost his front wing. And this is actually going to help Billy G try and keep this gap now. He's got 8 laps to go. And a decent gap on the Vicky. He's still got to defend from the Vicar as well. But this will help him save his tyres. It'll also help him save the gap for another half a lap or so, which will extend it for him. As they're back underway once again. That was a very short VSC. Vicar may be caught off. Dom's right there now, as Dan getting a poor start there as well on the VSC. The Vicar really under pressure from that Mercedes now, just behind him. Through turn 1, 2 and 3. All 3 behind. And there's still all there. It's just can't really make a mistake. The Vicar going defensive there, trying to force him to the outside, not going to let him go ahead, take this move easily. And again, this is going to help Billy, who's well, his gap is still going to drop, but with those 2 fighting, those 3 fighting, it's going to kind of stabilize out a little bit and help him preserve a bit of the lead. With 7 to go, it'll be 7 to go next lap, so 7.5 left in this race. Don't want to be pushing too much. 5-second gap. He's still got to defend it. 4.9, and this at the minute is the Vickers race to lose. Barring any safety cars at the end of this race, with still still a long-ish way to go. Who will come out on top in this lead 3-car battle? Dan still pushing 2. As the Dom goes up the inside there of the Vicar. I'm not too sure what happened with my mic there. Couldn't even hear myself talk there. That was extremely weird on my end. Technical glitch on that. That is, I do apologise for that. As Dom takes P2 back from the Vicar, and well, technically the Vicar does have P2 based on penalties. It's just still the position on track ahead. It's Billy G may actually be able, this may, again, it's all helping Billy G a little bit. I've said it a lot in this race, but it does. As these 3 cars come racing around these final couple corners now, as they enter lap 26 of 31, 6 laps to go in this race. 6 times all these corners, 6 more, 12 more DRS, sorry, no, not even 12, 18 times more of DRS in this race. 18 more chances to kind of get an overtake done. The Aston Martin in sight now for those 3. See him just in the corner, and that's going to help their confidence a lot. As I said last week, when you see the car, you kind of get a bit of extra speed, as it's like, oh, he's right there, I can see him, I'm going to push harder now to make sure I get him. At least that it's for me, it's like that. And you kind of get a bit of a confidence boost from that. You kind of lose confidence when you see the car falling away from you in front, and the opposite when it's kind of getting closer and you just know it's in touching distance. Can be heartbreaking if you don't get it, but extremely extremely nice when you do get it. Dom going a little wide there again. But I believe he may have the gap for penalty over Alex now. At the minute, it will be a minimum of P4 for him. A maximum of P4 for him at the minute, based on penalties as well. If any of these three in the area do pick one up as well. There's Dom, 2 seconds now, 4, 5 to go. Of course, you've got to add one more lap, as you don't end straight as you enter 31, you end at the end of 31, which Will Buxton eat your heart out there, but it's coming to an end, this race. It's been a good race for a lot of these drivers. Billy G looking to hold on for 4 in a row. Dom looking to push on for his first win of the season. Vicker looking to regain the championship lead, and Dan for his first win of the season. He's all over the back of the Vicker there though, and he's not going to get it just yet. As they come through now, the Vicker, I think the Vicker doesn't want to get past Dom here. Kind of just wants to sit back, let him come through it, and we'll see the penalties. Actually, Dom has it a 6-second gap. So if he can pull ahead of of Billy, and then Dom push out 5-6 seconds in the remaining 4 laps, it's unfeasible, but not unlikely. And he could pick up his first win in an SFR, never mind his first win of the season, his first ever win in SFR as a championship for him. It would be extremely good, and like I said at the beginning of the stream, a couple of good results and he could be in to the top 3 of the championship, in for that fight for the rest of the season. As we look at the rest of the penalties, Doran and Wakey with the 3 seconds, and John with another 3 seconds seemingly secured in P10 though, if he doesn't indeed pit for fastest lap. But Dom just there on board with Dan as well, who's still in that fight. He's just he's probably going to stick a little reminder maybe up the inside of the Vicker, going, I'm still here. Oh, don't forget about my little Alpine, I'm still fighting for this race win. And it'll all bunch up now that the hards and the mediums are starting to come towards a medium range with each other. At the end of this race, there's yellow flags in the final sector, as that is Nightcreed in the Williams. He is going again as he enters lap 28 now, as we enter 3 to go around Singapore. Dom seemingly having the pace for the win, on track. A little wide through turn 1, slow enough through turn 2 and turn 3. The Vicker may be able to use that to his advantage now. As Dom's starting to struggle on those mediums, maybe as everyone's starting to struggle on these tyres a little bit maybe. And we'll see the age of them just now. 10 laps, 9 laps, 16 laps. Dom is going to go for it up the inside. No, he's going to back out of it and just sit behind another lap. 30. It may be contact between the Vicker and himself there, and it's all starting to bulge up behind the front. You may see a couple mistakes now, as it's kind of reminiscent to 2023, I believe it was. Carlos Sainz to win in that race, as Nightcreed is out the session now. No safety car a possibility, and it'll be just through here, and he's clipped the inside wall, and that is again easy to do. I did mention that at the start of the stream. The Vickers actually fell out of DRS now of Dom. As we enter 2 to go, the penultimate lap is just around the corner. The Billy can just smell the win at this point, and he he's going to hold on for dear life through these last 2 laps. I'm guessing he's saved up a lot of energy as well to just try and get this. Now as they enter lap 30, the Vicar still there, just not close as close as he wants to be to get past Billy. As there's contact, actually, Billy's in the wall, Dom's in the wall, and that is a very controversial. That's a bad end for Billy, who'd pushed all his race and kept the lead, and it looked like he could have had it in the bag there. There is contact though, and it's going to go down to the final lap between Dan and Vicar. 5/10 is the gap. They'll push their absolute hardest through the next 30 or so corners, and we'll see what does happen. And this will be a very interesting end to the race. Don't go anywhere. Now this is going to be a fun one. Vicar may actually have secured it there with a strong middle sector, but Dan in that DRS again. As they enter the final lap, the Vicar actually pulls out nearly a second over Dan and may actually have this win in the bag. Billy G still going for that P2 though, to try and salvage what he can, and actually may be having a chance at a win again, which seemed unfeasible not even just a lap ago around this exact corner. Billy G struggling though there, and it's going to be the middle sector where it's all at for these drivers. Dan on the fresher tyres compared to the Vicar behind, and it's the Vicar who is still defending that race lead, looking for his first one in 3 races since Imola. It's been Billy G, and it's sector 3 yellows, as that's John Mobes, teammate of our, at the minute, race winner. And it's going to be right to the final corner now as Vicar goes wide. Dan goes a mistake as well. And this is going to be interesting, as Dan making that mistake could have just cost him the win. Heading round onto the final DRS straight, everything is going to be used by both of these drivers. Heading through end of sector 2, one more straight to go in Singapore. Billy G not there, the Vicar just ahead, and he may have just got it done, barring any mistakes through these final 2, 3, 4 corners. The Vicar will come round now in Singapore to take his first win since Imola, retake the championship lead ahead of his championship rival in P3, Dan P2, Billy P3, and Dom is P4. What an end to that race. The controversial end to the race there, but a good one nonetheless. Alex Haig coming home in P5 there, Preb in P6, Doran coming home in P7, a nice little comeback for him. And P8 will be Wakey on his SFR debut, a good race for him. And Silver Fox in P9, John Mobes will be looking to bounce back next race, but a decent race for him nonetheless. And that will be it for SFR here in Singapore as we wait for readouts to finish in the Haas in P11. It's the Vicar who wins by less than a second, less than half a second to Dan in the Alpine. Billy G comes home P3 after a heroic final stint to try and keep them behind and keep the pace up on those older hards. Just couldn't manage to do it. And just so close for Dan and Billy himself as well. Dom coming home in P4 with those penalties though. It's again a little bit of what could have been for him. And that will be it for SFR around Singapore in GP4. And Division 3 still ongoing. Again, Singapore Division 2 will be here tomorrow night and Division 1 on Wednesday night along with that. But for now, that is it from Division 4, and we will see you next week in Monza, the Temple of Speed, one of the oldest tracks in Formula 1, and a Ferrari on top in Singapore, wanting to be on top next week, again in the home crowd. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Once again, follow all our social medias. And of course, if you're interested in joining the league, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'm not too sure if we're on TikTok anymore, but I believe we were. Thank you for watching, however, and wherever you are, have a good evening or good